All right, ladies and gentlemen, please forgive me for the late start. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, a little congested, but the show must go on. Now, many of you might remember about a week ago, I did a video on Holden Matthews. He is the white supremacist that burned down three churches, black churches down in Louisiana, and his father, who was a sheriff deputy, turned him in. Well, he has now been charged with hate crimes, and more charges may be on him. And he was also denied bail, so he cannot even make bail. They feel that he's a flight risk. He may flee or even set more fires. So they don't want to take the chance on letting him out of prison, which I think is a good decision. So donations are pouring in for these churches. They have a GoFund set up. When I looked, I believe it was Monday when I looked, they had $560,000 raised. And from what I understand, they're already past $900,000. So this is raising funds so that all three of these black churches can be rebuilt. Hey, the way that they're going, they probably will make goal. I hope they do. I'm not a churchgoer, but I don't believe these churches should be torched by white supremacists. And we know this is a historic thing. These church burnings have been going on from the time of Reconstruction all the way up until now. And many of these black churches down in the South, they were built either during slavery, or many of them were built like in the early 1900s and the 20th century. The South probably have some of the oldest black churches in the country. So, man accused of setting fire to three black churches in Louisiana, charged with hate crimes. All right, so this is NBC News, April 16th, 2019, and then this story was updated on the 17th. So, white man suspected of burning three African-American churches in Louisiana is now facing hate crime charges in arson cases. Holden Matthews, the 21-year-old son of a sheriff deputy, entered his not guilty plea via video conference from St. Landry Parish. Now, listen, ladies and gentlemen, on his phone, he actually recorded the burnings. And in the recording, they said he took responsibility for the fire. So he incriminated himself on his own cell phone. And now he's turning around and pleading not guilty. Go figure, right? High IQ. Okay, the judge set a September trial date. Matthews, who had no previous criminal record, which don't mean anything, y'all, because many times these folks commit crimes and they don't get charged. It's not that they didn't commit crimes, they've committed crimes. But see, this system is set up where they don't get charged for many things they should be charged for. So it appears like they didn't commit a crime, but I bet if we look deep enough in his background, I bet you the authorities have been out there on his ass before, but they chose not to do anything. That's usually the case. Was arrested Wednesday on three charges of arson of a religious building. Prosecutors filed documents Monday, adding three more charges accusing Matthews of violating Louisiana's hate crime law, confirming that they believed the fires were racially motivated, a link authorities had previously stopped short of making. But I think they got the confirmation from watching the videos on his phone after the church burning. He actually filmed each one and took responsibility for each one. on his cell phone. Browning said federal officials also are considering filing additional federal hate crime and arson charges against Matthews. In denying bail, State District Judge James Doherty sided with law enforcement officials who said they were worried Matthews would try to flee the area or set more fires. We felt that he was an immediate risk to the public safety, said Louisiana Marshal Butch Browning. In my mind, I felt another fire was imminent. Testifying in court, Browning outlined a litany of evidence, including new details of the investigation that he said tied Matthews to the torching of the 3 Black churches over 10 days. Wow, he just went buck wild out there, didn't he? The fire marshals described cell phone records placing Matthews at the fire locations, and he said images on the phone showed all 3 churches burning before law enforcement arrived and showed Matthews claiming responsibility for the fire. So he incriminated himself on his own cell phone. Wow, the high IQ is just amazing, isn't it? Matthews, shackled and wearing an orange prison jumpsuit, never spoke to the court during the hearing, letting his court-appointed attorney enter the not guilty plea for him. His parents watched their son's appearance on video conference from the courtroom, his dad repeatedly wrenching his hands and at one point leaving the room in tears. The fires all started with gasoline, occurred in and around Opelousas, Opelousas, I guess that's how it's pronounced, about 60 miles west of Louisiana, capital city of Baton Rouge. So this is the first church he burned down. This is St. Mary's Church in Louisiana, was the first to burn. Okay. A crowdfunding campaign for the 3 gutted churches was climbing Tuesday after social media posts urging the public not to forget the plight of the small houses of worship as the eyes of the world were on, Notre Dame. Okay. So it's a blessing, truly a blessing. The Reverend Freddie Jack, president of the 7th District Missionary Baptist Church Association, said of the fundraising campaign in a telephone interview Tuesday night. The 3 churches are members of the association. The campaign surpassed $900,000 Tuesday evening, with contributions ranging from $5 to thousands of dollars. It's all working out for the greater good, Jack said, when asked about the connection being made to the Notre Dame fire. So that's good. I'm glad, I'm not big on going to church, but I don't think these churches deserve to be torched by a white supremacist. So they're going to take the money raised and distribute the money between the 3 churches. And it just goes over the churches that were burnt, which we already know about. So they got a hearing set for Matthews, a pretrial for July 17th. And jury selection begins on September 10th. So I hope he gets what he deserves. Being a big prick, running around setting fires. One thing about America got an ugly history of this. You can go back centuries all the way up until now, and there's black church burnings along the way. So he's done something old and familiar and criminal, burning down 3 black churches. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. I don't believe the church house is where our people belong, but unfortunately, many of them are conditioned to believe this is where they should be. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.